What's up, guys? Alright, thanks for tuning in to Tanner's Tuner. I'm back here with the tag. Today is the first mod. Actually, I already put a water pump on this thing, and I was going to record it, but it was just too hard, and I couldn't figure out how to record it and do it. So, I'm sorry about that, guys, but here we go. First video for Tanner's Tuner. The tag, baby. Let's open up this box real quick. There we go. We got rotors and performance brake pads, thanks to Brembo. Alright, so step one to putting on your calipers on your from your 96, actually any Honda, any Acura that has a 4-lug pattern. First thing you gotta do, obviously, you gotta take the front end of the car, you gotta jack it up. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Alright, so once you get under the car, you gotta figure out a good place to jack it up. So let's look under here and try to find a good spot. So what you're gonna look for, I know you guys can't see very well. Let me move this jacket. Alright, I know you guys can't see very well, but you gotta look for a part in the frame that looks strong. You could use your control arm, but I'm gonna stick one of my jack stands on it. So I'm gonna use, let's go with right here. Let's go with right here. Right here. Alright. Up from, but look at this. So after you get it jacked up, you're gonna come under here and find a spot. It's good enough. That is not good at all. So I'm gonna re-jack this up. Let's jack it up a little bit more. Just go and jack this up. I just gotta get it up enough to put this jack stand under this. Huh. Alright, so step 2 to putting on your rotors. Get the impact. So, after you get the impact and you got it jacked up on the jack stands, got your impact, you ready to take it off, you're going to put it on just like this. And you're going to go ahead and take them all off. And I'm about to take them all off and I'll be done. After you get all your lug nuts off, take off your wheel. Let's go ahead and take it off. Roll it off to the side. Boom. So next thing you gotta do. So I got some sockets and I got my wrench. But let me go and sit down real quick. So what you gotta do is, you see this little screw right here? I mean, not screw. See that bolt? You see this bolt right here? You gotta take both of them out right now. After you take the 2 bolts off, this bolt right here, this bolt right here, should be a 10 mil, but I use a 9/16. Like, that's a no-no. But after this, you gotta start taking this right here off. It's gonna be super tight, but start wiggling it off. Once you get it off, I'll show you what to do next. Get it off, you gotta stick it in here. I already broke it loose, but you just do this, and once you get it right here, go ahead and start pulling it off. But make sure you don't overstretch your brake line, or else you're gonna be having to replace it like I have to do here soon. But you gotta work it off like this, and once you get it off, watch. So after you get your caliper off, you wanna set it up on top of here, on top of your hub and your rotor. But what you should do is use a bungee cord from up here and hold it. But right now I'm trying to get these pads off because that's the first thing I'm replacing. I can't just pull them off, so I'm taking a little screwdriver and give it a little bit of a pull, and it should pop right off right there like that. You see how it's coming off? See? Just like this. See? And come on. And then, alright guys. I'm right here right now. I'm super sweaty because I just went and rode the freaking go-kart over there. I ended up one of the wheels got popped. So I put my car wheels onto it. That thing freaking cooked. Anyway, that's what I was saying. So I know you guys probably can't see right now because I don't have a flashlight. Alright, right here. The light is on its way. Alright. So I can't get these brake pads off. So I'll get back. All right, so I finally got the brake pads off. Let's show them to you. Bad. I mean, they're not super bad, but look at these new brake pads we're gonna be putting on it. Pretty thick. All right, so next thing you gotta do, so let me get this light back there. All right, you see that bolt right there and that bolt right there? You need to take them off next so you can get the caliper bracket off so you can get to the rotor. You're probably gonna need a breaker bar for them 2 bolts because those are in really freaking tight. All right, so after you get those 2 bolts out, this right here should just slide off. So after you get that slid off, make sure to set it off to the side. So after you get it slid off, you're gonna straighten out this wheel real quick. All right, so do you see that Phillips and that Phillips? You're gonna have to use an impact driver to get it off. So I'm gonna do that real quick and let's start putting it back together. All right, so what has to happen next? So as you get them 2 screws out, so let me hold this light real quick and show you. So this screw and this screw, your rotor should just be able to slide right off. Get this stupid thing out of the way. Let's get a new one. I'm taking this little sticker off real quick. Probably should have done this earlier. Alright, almost off, there we go, it's mostly off. So next, you gotta line up good and line it up, slide it on, and boom, you got your new caliper on. So let me hang this up here, pull that out of the way, grab your screws, go ahead and start them in there. See? So I gotta get it started. Alright, well, I will get to you after I screw these in. Alright, so guess what? I got the new rotor on, and now I'm gonna start putting them back together. First thing you gotta put back on, alright, you remember the caliper bracket? So you gotta put it on. So for the driver's side, you wanna have these rubber nipples on the back, or whatever you wanna call them, and the square piece towards the outside. So you slide it on. Oh shucks, I'm putting it on backwards. So like this, square piece in. You just go ahead and slide it in just like that, and start tightening her down. So make sure your hole's lined up right here. You can do that by wiggling it, and there you go, she's tight. Now I'll tighten these up and I'll show you what's next. Alright, so after you get the caliper bracket in, you have to compress the piston in your caliper. Alright, so after you get your caliper bracket tightened up and torqued down, you have to put on your brake pads. So, right now, I have the front brake pad in, but I'm trying to wiggle this back brake pad in, and I don't understand why it's not going on. So I gotta figure that out, and I will show you guys how to do the back after that. I couldn't get this brake pad in, so I'm gonna have to grind it. And it's okay to grind it because sometimes they don't fit. Maybe there's too much paint, but you don't have to grind it down much. Okay, so I finally got the brake pads in, and I had trouble putting the caliper on. So there's these little flat spots on those little rubber nipples that I was telling you about earlier. So there's these little flat spots that slide onto the flat spot of the caliper, and if those aren't completely straight, it'll pull the caliper down, or it'll pull it up, and the caliper won't go on straight. So I had to take mine back off and straighten it up. But after you do that, it's time to tighten up the bolts on the caliper, which it's this one, which is right here. Go ahead and slide this in here. It's behind this brake line. You push it in, there you go. It's straight. I'm tightening it up with my fingers real quick. You gotta go ahead and do the bottom. I gotta find the other bolt real quick. Don't know where I put it. Where'd I put it? Where'd I put it? The bolt! Can't find the bolt. Let's see if it's under the caliper. It is. See, you're not completely useless. He's weird. All right, so let's get this other caliper bolt in and let's torque these down, put the wheel back on, and go to the back. All right, so.
That's the only reason I'm not laying down.
Okay, so what's next? So I came to the back, took off the tires, and it's a lot different. Not a lot different, but it's a little different. So for the top, careful going under there, buddy. I don't want you to get hurt. All right, so make sure. Okay, that's tighten. Let's make this loosen. All right, so for this bolt right here, this one. All right, so it's easy to loosen. Okay, that's not what we're worried about. We're worried about this one right there. You can't get to that with a little socket, so you have to use one of these. They're like, it's like a ratchet on one side and a box wrench on the other. You got to use this and get up in here and get that off. So after you get that off, after you do that, I have to figure out what size it is real quick. Well, I can just look at my socket. All right, my socket is 9/16. All right, so I need a 9/16 over here. This is 12 mil. I don't know.
There's definitely
I
gonna be
don't
some
know
over there now.
what 9/16 translates into. It might be a 13. I'm not good with these yet. But after I get this off, I will show you how I got it. I'll loosen it and I'll show you guys how I got it and I'll get back. All right, so what I did was I took this, a 14 mil. So the top and the bottom are 14 mils. So I took this and I took a sledgehammer and I hooked it on just like this. So I came back here and first I pulled this out of the way. So I pulled it out of the way like that, and I came in here and I hooked it onto the bolt. And I took the sledgehammer, I beat it on this side just like that. Shout out to CJ. All right, so that's how I got it off, and I loosened it. Now I can take my finger and just go ahead and back it all the way out, just like that. So I'm gonna lay this over here. So now this caliper should be loose, but it's not. So I'm gonna hit it, give it a little tap. All right, so she's loose now. All right, so now gotta grab the flat tip. Gotta come in here. Just like this right here. You gotta stick it in there, just like this. Go ahead and start prying it outward. You're gonna cause a little bit of dust, and it is on there pretty tight. Gotta come down here now. Just go back and forth on the bottom and the top until you get it off. And I'll come back once I get it off. Alright, so here's the problem. So what happened? No, I need an adjustable wrench. Alright, so what is happening right now? Okay, so there's a shroud around the back caliper. This thing right here, well, that bolt and another bolt that's back here is stripped out. I'm trying to find a freaking way to get it off. Stupid, but I'm gonna get it off, and once we're done, I'll just finish showing you what's up. So I ended up figuring it out. I had to use a 10 mil socket, the littlest freaking wrench I could find, and I had to get it on there between the freaking springs on the coilover. And I took a little bit of hammer and had to hammer it on so it would have fit well. And right now I'm just so nice and slowly, because that's all the freaking wrench I can get. Because if I go any higher, it'll slide right off. But you see what I'm doing right here? It's taking forever, but I'll get it out. And now it's almost out. There, it's out. Freaking, I don't know if I should put this back on. I'm obviously gonna put it back on, but yeah. So I had a brain fart. This isn't gonna get in the video, so yeah. So I was using a 10 mil socket. I finally got it off. So now I gotta come down here, and of course it freaking doesn't fit. I got freaking God. I'll figure it out and I'll show you what to do. So guess what? Finally got it off. You have to use a 10 mil socket with a wobble extension. Like a 6-inch like wobble extension. Gotta get it straight. It comes straight off, man. Straight off. Alright, so back down to here. So now I'm finally able. You could probably take off these caliper bolts at this moment, but now I'm gonna take a flat tip screwdriver and pry it off, just like this. And I'm not really caring if I ruin the rotor because I have a new one to put on it. But I'm gonna get this off and I'll be right back. So I just figured out why the stupid freaking caliper wasn't coming off. Well, I was having trouble getting it off, as you can see. This thing was on there freaking tight. I just figured out why. Had my freaking e-brake on. So now I'm gonna stick my freaking screwdriver down in there and this thing's gonna pop right off. Watch. Oh, dude, right off. Don't forget to take your e-brake off, guys. So, after you get your caliper off, like I did, I took a bungee cord on this front one because I couldn't lay it up here. You should probably use a bungee cord on the front anyway, but I just seen I could just lay it right here. But on the back one, I can't. Because you do not want to kink this brake line or the emergency brake line or anything like that. So I'm hanging it up, bungee cord, right there, so we can get on to the next part. Alright, so the next step is to take off this bird in here. So the next thing to do is take off this caliper mount. And it's different from the front. It's different size, but you still need a breaker bar. The size on the back is a 15 mil or 5/8. So you gotta put it on the bottom one and you're gonna break it loose, and the same with the top one. It's gonna be kind of hard because this caliper's in the way, but you can do it. So I broke the top and bottom bolts loose. They ended up being 14s. The 15s were just a little bit too big. So after you break them loose, you're gonna need to use a ratchet to get them out, obviously, and I couldn't get them out with the ratchet. So I had to use a 6-inch extension, 3/4 inch, with a 14 mil socket. Comes right off. Alright, so finally got the caliper bracket off. I had to hold the caliper bracket out and get him to help me unscrew it, but I ended up doing it by my hand. But I'm going to use another impact driver so I can get this rotor off and put on the other one, and then we're done. So actually I'm going to show you how to use an impact driver right now. Alright, so this is how you use an impact driver. So first things first, I need a Phillips bit for this, and to the right is to tighten, and to the left is to loosen. You want it halfway between, in the middle, so it's in neutral basically. Like basically neutral, and you put it in, and then you hold this side, and you hit it in there to get it in. See, look, it's supporting itself. So now you twist it to the left, and you twist it pretty hard, like you can untwist this, but then if you hit it with this, oh, it ain't coming off. We go pull the e-brake. Oh wait, I can't. The e-brake won't work because I took off the. All right. Let's try this again. Let's try this side first. Let's give it a quick tighten real quick. So get it in there. All right. Let's give them both a tighten and see what happens after that. All right. Now it's time to loosen them up. It ain't working. Son of a biscuit eater, you back up right now! Back up! Ain't coming out, man. Son of a biscuit eater, why ain't it coming up? Alright, so the driver's side, those screws were way too tight, and I don't understand why. So I came to the passenger side of the rotor screws, and I still can't get them out. I don't understand why they're so tight. But I put some penetrating fluid on them last night, came back today, and now let's bust these loose and get them out. Alright, so the next step is to put on your brake pads on the back. And it's different for the back. This little tattletale thing right here is on the front. And you want to have the outside, like the curvature, to the outside of the rotor. And then your the back one is this one, the one that doesn't have the tattletale-like thing. And what you do, so you use this thing. Okay, so let me do this real quick. So you're gonna grab your rotor, hold it up. This thing right here goes in here like this. Gotta get it in there. So, like this thing goes inside of this caliper like this. See, so it's starting to go in, but once you get it in there, it'll snap in. I'm sorry guys, my allergies are being really bad right now. Oh, there we go, it's in. See that? And you're gonna come up here, and you see that right there? You wanna have those little tabs, like, onto the caliper right here. Alright, so, for compressing the caliper, yes sir. So compressing the caliper on the back is not like doing it on the front up there. On the front, you can just like tighten it using like a C-clamp or something, and on the back, you have to come in here with a screwdriver. You have to twist it, so watch this. Well, I mean, it's already bottomed out for me, but you could obviously see the twist, like look. Okay, see how it's turning? I'm gonna go ahead and turn that back real quick. But that's how you can put your rear pistons, and after this, you bolt on your bracket, and then you put on your new brake pads. So after you get your brake caliper compressed, now it's time to put your bracket back on. So I already put this bolt right, where is it? Right there. I already put that one in. Now it's time for this one right here. Just go ahead and get this one started way up here. You guys can hopefully see it. Right there. There we go. And then you just gotta spin it. You gotta adjust this right here until it lines up, like right there. Just lined up. Now you gotta tighten it up. And after you tighten it up, I'll show you what's next. So after you get your caliper mount bracket tightened up, pretty freaking tight, because you need it pretty tight. After you get that tightened up, what you need to do next is put your brake pads on. So, first things first, as you know, this goes on the back like this, because your rotor would be, let me hold this real quick with my knees. Alright, so your rotor will be right here, and this goes right here, and when it spins, okay, because you want this in the back, because your piston pushes this way, and once your brake pads get low, you want it to push this forward, so it'll catch the squealer, so you know when your brake pads are getting low. So you come back in the back, and you lay it down in there in the springs, and get it on just like that. It shouldn't be too hard to put in, but also shouldn't be wiggling around. And then now when you put in this one, same thing. Make sure that the round part's out and that back piece this way. Squeeze her in there, make sure she's good, squeeze both ways. Check it. Okay, so this is wrong. That wasn't in there right. So I'm gonna try that again. See this right here? It should be that way, and that should be that way. There you go. Now that is right. Now let's unhook this caliper, untwist it real quick from that, and slide that caliper right on, just like this. Slid it on, caliper's on. Now you just gotta put these top bolts and lower bolts in, put the shroud back on, and you're done. Alright, so I got the caliper back on. Now it's time to put your wheels back on. Roll it over here. Alright, you guys ready? Alright. Pull it up here. Look for the lug nuts. Line them up. There's one right there. And the second one's right there. Let's go ahead and grab the lug nuts. Actually, I'm putting this hubcap back on. So let's move all these lug nuts out the way. Line up the hole right there. There we go. Now let's hold that in. Grab a lug nut. Start putting it in. Just like this. And she's about started. There we go. She started. Now let's grab another one and go to the opposite side. And she's ready, guys.